It's a very green. Things are so green. It's almost like springtime because everything is a light green.
Sounds beautiful.
It's like on the edge of a small village.
Okay, edge of a village.
Mm.
And what does the environment look like around this village?
It's kind of in a valley.
In a valley. Okay. And you're at you're outside this village?
Yes.
Okay, look at yourself. Tell me what you see.
Mm-hmm. I see I have treasure, pants on, and kind of a soft shoes. And it's comfortable weather. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's kind of in a springtime weather.
And where in the world is this village?
This village seems to be in, it's someplace in Europe.
Someplace in Europe?
Yeah, it's almost like Netherlands or something like that.
Netherlands, okay. And look at your build and look at your face. Tell me what you look like.
I am a little above medium height, very slender. I have a clean face. I don't have any beard.
What is your age?
I would say in my mid to late 20s.
Mid to late 20s?
Mm.
Okay. And when you look at the character of this face, what do you see? What kind of person is this?
A kind person, but also at the same time a very wise person, very observant person.
Okay, now on this beautiful spring day or whatever the weather is, what are you doing right now?
I'm walking.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm outside the house and I'm walking down the street and greeting people.
Greeting people?
It's very friendly community.
This is the village you live in?
Yes. We know each other quite well.
Okay. And what's going on in this village? Anything in particular? It's just a normal day, or is it a special day?
It's kind of like what you would call a weekend, where things are just kind of calmed down. Everybody's relaxing. There's no tension anywhere.
If you had to give a time period for the time that this village is in, what is the time right now? The year or the century?
The century was during the 1500s.
1500s, okay, very good. So this is like a weekend day?
Yeah.
And what are the villagers doing today?
Basically relaxing. They chat with each other. They go kind of like a restaurant, and they really just relax and enjoying themselves.
Spending time together?
Yeah.
And how does it feel to be living this life on this day?
It's very relaxing. But we also feel, or I feel, I also feel that there's something about to happen. I feel it, I sense it.
Okay, I'm going to count now from 3 to 1. And let's move to what happens. 3, 2, 1, moving to what you have sensed. What's happening?
There's a disturbance. There's a disturbance.
What kind of disturbance?
It's like there's this talk that the people in the community are unhappy because they're being divided. Some people have heard that the church is evil, and others say it is guided by Jesus. So there's a division.
And what's your opinion?
I see why the people are upset with the church, because they feel like they've been taken advantage of.
What's happening? What is the church doing to take advantage?
Asking people for money.
Mm-hmm.
In a deceitful way.
So what's going on in the village? How is this crisis resolving?
Well, it's not resolving because it's getting worse.
Okay, what's happening?
It's a very, very Christian community, and this division is causing a big upheaval. And we're hearing rumors that not only is this community, but many communities around us are upset. It's like they found out that they have been lied to.
I see.
And they have been destroying, in other communities, destroying the churches.
Destroying the churches?
Yes.
And how are you reacting right now, personally?
There's a lot of fear in me. And I wanted to go find out what this was all about. I always wanted to find out the source of this division. I always wanted to go and see why this is coming about.
Okay. I want you to move now to the scene where you find out what's going on. You find out what you want to know. 3, 2, 1. Be there now.
Yes. I found out that there was this man who posted something on the church saying that what he has referred to as indulgence is a scheme, that is not what the church is not what Jesus wanted the church to be. It wanted to be loving. It didn't want to be used as a way of getting money. For what I heard was that the money goes to the Pope.
I see. So the indulgence is paying money to remove sins, or is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
Okay, so I want you to move now. 3, 2, 1. Moving now to the final outcome. What happens with this disturbance in the village? What do you see?
As I look around, I see that that many people are just really devastated that it has come to the citizens of this community that they needed to take responsibility and to really understand and get help of understanding what the teachings of Jesus was all about. They wanted to know what is in the Bible. They can't read the Bible. They can't read. And they wanted to find someone who could read the Bible.
I see.
And then they would discuss it. They said, we cannot trust the priest.
Right.
As I look, I realize that some of the priest was not very truthful and was in it for their own glory. But there was a few who really thought they were telling the truth, that they were teaching what Jesus wanted it to be said.
Right. Okay, I want you to move now to one moment before the end of this life. 3, 2, 1, be there now. And tell me now what happened to the village.
The village, a lot of people left the village. A lot of people could not be in the community any longer. They felt betrayed. They felt very sad because they remembered what it was like. It was a beautiful community. Everybody loved everybody. And it was sad to see this division, this anger, and a lot of violence.
What kind of violence?
They took it out on the priest, and they took it out on anyone that was really a devoted Catholic. They did a lot of harming.
What did they do to the people?
Some of them were thrown out of town. Some of them were ignored. And that was probably a sad thing for them to be ignored. They had no one to speak to.
I see.
But there was rumors that other parts of the country, there was destroying the churches with fires.
And looking back at this, looking back at your life, one moment before death, before your transition, how do you feel about this life?
I see that it was important that I take responsibility for my life, that I needed to trust myself and not put so much trust in those who had authority.
I see. Very good. Okay, I'm going to count from 3 to 1 now, and I want you to transition out of this body and move to another human life that is relevant to see now. 3, 2, 1, moving to another life. See yourself in this new life, other life now, and tell me what you see.
It's more in the 1800s.
1800s?
Mm-hmm.
And where are you?
I'm in France.
In France? Okay. And what do you see around you?
I see that I was in Paris.
In Paris?
And I was a politician.
Mm-hmm. Politician.
And I really wasn't always looking for the best interest of the people. I wanted to be famous.
I understand.
I wanted to be looked up to.
Okay, and tell me what you see now. What's going on around you? What are you doing?
I have a wife and I have 3 daughters.
Three daughters?
And
Okay.
1 son.
Mm-hmm.
And they are well educated. My son is having a hard time because he doesn't agree with me. He sees that I am not what he would call a pure being, that I had alternative motives in being a politician. And this upset him a great deal.
I see. I want you to look at the eyes now of your son and tell me if this is a soul that you recognize in the life of Devin. Look into those eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I recognize him as a person who I have knew in high school.
In high school? Okay. Was this a friend or just a classmate?
He was a friend.
And what was your relationship like with this friend in high school?
I really enjoyed being around him. I trusted him.
And what's his name?
His name was Richard.
Richard, okay. Okay, and going back to the, looking back at this, your son in Paris, I want you to move now. I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and moving to another important scene in this life as the Parisian politician. 3, 2, 1, moving now. Moving to another important scene.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
I am quite old now. My wife has died. My 3 daughters, one of them died from a disease.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 have been married and have children. But we're not in the same area of France. We're in Paris, but we're not living close together. It's unusual. People in the families usually live together close by, but in this case, that wasn't the truth.
Tell me about your relationship with your family.
I felt very broken when my wife died. She was a very loving, compassionate supportive being, woman, companion. She felt very sad that the family didn't really connect with each other more than it did. She wanted a deeper, connected family. But she accepted, and she always stood by me. The son moved. He got interested in another part of the world. He went to Germany, and we never really saw him again. That was sad. But we did heal our disagreements.
You healed them?
Yes.
How did you heal them?
We talked and we shared, and I realized that a lot of what his concerns were, I accepted his concerns. I learned from him to be more loving. And he told me if I would love myself more, I would be a better person. I wouldn't be taking advantage of people.
So what happened during your career as a politician? Did it change, or did it stay the same?
Through my talks with my son, it changed. He was a big influence. It was a major influence. And he was persistent. He left France only after he understood that I had come to a better understanding of our relationship. So he left with great love.
Very good. Okay, I want you to move now to 1 minute before your last breath during this life. 3, 2, 1. Be there now.
Yes.
And what do you see around you?
I see my 2 daughters and their husbands and their children. And I see a being that I didn't recognize, but then I realized it was my son. My vision was very unclear at that moment, but I can sense his presence.
Your son came to see you?
He came to see me. My daughters had always kept connected with him.
Oh, I see.
And I asked him that he forgive me, and he said there's nothing to forgive.
Oh, very good.
And I felt the presence of beings around me, of the light, like angels who helped me in those last several hours.
Oh, very nice. Okay, I want you to move now to the moment when you transition out of the body. 3, 2, 1. Transitioning out. Okay. Mm-hmm. And are those angels still with you?
Those angels are still with me. They are guiding me. They're taking me to what you would call heaven. I meet my wife and my mother and father.
And what do they say to you?
They welcomed me, and they really are very loving human beings. They radiated so much love and so much happiness. I felt such great joy. They were happy that my son was there at the end. And they said that was the greatest gift that my son had ever given me. And that he had fulfilled his agreement. He had fulfilled his agreement that he would guide me to a better life.
I see. And looking at these three souls, your parents and your wife, do you recognize any of them in the life of Devin or in other sessions we've had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the son.
The son you said is Richard.
Yeah. The father, I really can't recognize him.
That's okay. So none of them you recognize?
No.
Okay. I want you to move now to go to the place where you see your council, when you plan your lives, and when you review your lives. 3, 2, 1. Be there now. You're in front of your council.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I would like for one of them to step up or make himself or herself known and explain to you why you are shown these two lives. Who are you noticing?
I see the guide of Thomas.
You see Thomas again, your guide.
Thomas, yes.
Is he standing with you now, or is he one of your council?
He's one of my councils.
Okay. And what does he have to say?
He said that I learned so much in that life. It was a beautiful life. And that it was not an easy life. But you chose that life.
The life in Paris?
Yes.
Okay.
But you chose that life to learn some major lessons. That you followed your ego into politics. But you did that because you wanted to know how you would use your skills, and you knew that you would use them in a negative way. But you also asked your son to help you, the being that you called your son, and he was there to help you. It was amazing agreement that you two had. And he fulfilled his agreement, and you fulfilled yours. He learned from you persistence, but he also deepened his understanding of the ego and how it can be abusive to others. That when one follows their ego, it can be very, very damaging to others. And he had that experience. He understood it, but he wanted the experience. So the son learned that aspect. I learned the experiential also. And it was through my son's dedication to help me through this that I could have that experience.
It's very, thank you, Thomas. It's very interesting that we get to see these two lives because they're like a perfect mirror image of each other. In the Netherlands, it starts with a kind of an ideal, simple life, and some very egoic people, because of their behavior, this this ideal world gets upset. And then in the life of Paris, you start in that kind of political world. That theme continues, but you're on the other side of it where you're in your ego, but then you get to transform and learn how to become positive, have a more positive life again in a richer way. So thank you for sharing that.
It was a much richer way of seeing life.
Right.
It deepened it.
Okay, and I'm going to ask now about the journey of Devin's soul. Is it okay if I ask some questions?
Yes.
Okay. Has Devin had lives as an animal?
Yes, he has had lives as an animal.
And okay, I want you now, Devin, just to relax, focus on your breath, clearing your mind, feeling deeper and more deeply relaxed as you breathe in and out, just letting your thoughts clear. And now we're going to travel through time and space. I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And we're going to move now to one of those animal lives. 3, 2, 1. And be there now. Tell me, where are you?
It is not of this world. It is not on this earth.
Okay, is it a physical world?
It is a physical world.
Okay, what do you see?
It is a very beautiful world. It has plants and animals, but they're different looking. They have, and the colors are different.
And what are the colors like?
There are some colors that we have here on Earth, but there's other colors that have not shown itself through the regular physical eyes.
Is it like the senses are different? Slightly different range of seeing?
Yes.
Okay. And look at yourself. Tell me, what do you see?
It has to make it simple, it's almost like a lion.
Like a lion.
Mm-hmm.
And what would be different from a lion on Earth?
There's not that much difference.
Are the colors different?
The colors are different. The face is a little bit. You would have a more calmer face than what you see in here.
Is the planet different that would make this lion calmer?
Oh yes.
How is the planet different?
It's a very loving planet. There is no fear. There is. It's very respectful of all life. It's like, it's quite different. It is not contaminated with poisons or toxins. It is, the people are very well balanced.
So there's people on this planet also.
There's people on this planet.
So as a lion now, tell me, what are you doing?
Well, I rest a lot. Also, the animals are very intuitive. It's like they do not see themselves as inferior beings. They see themselves as just life in a form. They don't see themselves as better or worse, but they are very intuitive. People don't need to speak in this place. It's very, you communicate just with your thought. There's no hiding, there's no embarrassing that. It's like everything is known. There's no secrets.
And are you by yourself? Are you with other animals or other lions?
Well, at this point I'm resting by myself, but there is other animals in the area.
Okay, and I want you to move now. I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And move to a scene where you're not resting and you're actively doing something.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. Be there now. What are you doing?
I am sitting next to a being that in this life you may call a master, or your master, like a pet's master guardian. And we are just enjoying each other's company.
Do you live with this master or no?
Yes.
Okay, and what is your living area like? Are you out in nature, or are you in some kind of artificial home? Or
no, the place it's very comfortable. It's like there's no home. There's nothing. There's not anything that you would call home. We were just all out in nature.
Out in nature, okay.
Because there's no need for protection. There's no protection. There's nothing to be protected. You don't need to protect yourself because there's nothing to be protected of.
And what is your relationship to each other? How would you compare it to, for example, a life as a pet on Earth, like I say, a dog with a human master? How would you compare it?
It depends on the master, but most masters see them as inferior. The animal is inferior.
On this planet, different planet?
On this planet.
Which planet?
Earthly planet.
On Earth. And what about the planet of the lion?
The planet of the lion, you're all equal. There's, there's a peacefulness because nothing is hurt or harmed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want you to move now. Moving now to a scene where you are eating. 3, 2, 1, and be there now. What do you see?
Mm-hmm. Eating is quite different here because, first of all, we do not need that much food because we don't have so much trauma that causes us to have a lot of food. What we the animals, or I'll speak for me, I eat the grains and the grasses that grow here.
Okay, and what do you mean when you say you don't have the trauma that causes you to eat food?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
On Earth, a lot of people have to have food because of their nervous system. And their nervous system is very on high alert because of the fear.
The nervous system, I see.
So we don't have fear. So we don't have a nervous system that causes us to need to eat so much.
So are you saying fear drains a lot of energy?
Fear drains a lot of energy.
Oh, I see.
And we know how to maintain our body because we don't hold on to emotions. Our emotions are we don't really have that many emotions. So we don't get out of balance, and we don't get out of balance. So we stay in a very calm state.
I see. Okay, I want you to move now. We're going to count from 3 to 1 and move to a scene where you're interacting with other animals, different animals, or with other lions. Mm-hmm. 3, 2, 1. Be there now.
We recognize each other, and we do play.
Who are you with?
Many different animals, different type of animals, and we play.
You play together?
We play together.
How does that feel to play together?
There's excitement.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much joy in that. And we just love each other. There's no fear of one hurting another.
Very good. Okay. I want you to breathe in now. Focus on relaxation, mm-hmm. clearing your mind. And we're going to move now back to your council. 3, 2, 1. Moving now back. And you're with Thomas and the other council members. Mm-hmm. And Thomas, why did you show Devin this life as the lion?
Mm-hmm. You ask whether Devin was ever an animal.
Right.
And the reason why that was shown is to show how life could be like. How it doesn't have to be the same as that dimension you were in, mm-hmm. on your dimension, but it can show you, perhaps get a clear vision that animals can be looked at differently with love and compassion.
I see.
And that they too can be in harmony with all of their other animals. But that on this earth will take some time, because certain animals eat other animals, and that would change. But what is important to see is your relationship to animals. It's like animals are not what you think they are very intuitive. Notice that some animals can sense when there's danger to the human. They can protect them or warn them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It was a beautiful experience. And question now for the higher self of Devon. How did it feel to see that life or to experience that life?
It was nice to experience. It was very nice to see such great love and compassion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a question now for Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And does the higher self of Devon have other lives going on that we would call ET lives?
Yes, but it is his, yes.
And anything else? But what would you like to say about that?
He can, because of his abilities, he can transform his appearance in many different ways.
I see.
He doesn't have to look a certain way. No one has to look a certain way. They chose how they look. They chose their appearance. He is just aware, as all higher beings that we all are aware. But because we are in especially Earth, where the reality is so asleep at this point, we don't realize that you can change your form. But it is possible.
I see. So when we're here on Earth, we feel very fixed and locked in to this physical form. But the higher self is really just a very versatile type of shapeshifter.
Yes.